All right, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon, as the case may be, and welcome to this PowerCast. How protected is your IBMI in the event of a disaster? By Mark Martin of IBM and Paul Sinkugrain of FalconStor. This PowerCast is sponsored by FalconStor. My name's Ian Cartwright. I'm Education Manager for Common North America. And if you experience any technical issues during the presentation, go ahead and send me a message through chat. If you'd like to send Mark or Paul a written question about the content during today's presentation, for that, you can use the Q&A area, and Paul and Mark will answer your question at the end of the presentation as time permits. Just a quick word about our speakers. Mark U. Martin is a product manager, workloads PowerVS for IBM systems working for IBM. And Paul Sinkugrain is a regional sales director of Americas for FalconStor. Paul is presented first. Paul, go ahead and take us away.
Hey, thank you for the introduction, Ian, and thank you to everybody who's in attendance today. Mark and I today will talk to you about hybrid cloud, backup and restore with IBM Power Virtual Server and FalconStor StorSafe VTL. As a bit of definition here, hybrid cloud refers to our FalconStor StorSafe VTL solution. It works both on-prem and in a cloud environment, specifically Power Virtual Server. And the backup and restore is we help customers with a point-in-time backup archive solution with protection. Now, what will we go over today? Here's the agenda. As we promoted this session, we asked, how protected is your IBMI in the event of a disaster? And so in this session, we'll cover the benefits of IBM Power Virtual Server. We'll start with the IBM Power Cloud, and Mark will reinforce and highlight IBM PowerVS. As we delve into PowerVS, we'll discover how our hybrid cloud solution enhances data protection and business continuity. Optimizing backup and recovery. Paul, will showcase StorSafe VTL and its role in streamlining backup processes and ensuring swift recoveries for power users. And finally, ransomware defense strategies. Both Mark and Paul will review the importance of data immutability, how it can shield your systems from ransomware attacks, and how IBM Power Virtual Server with FalconStor VTL can enable this protection. So Mark will review PowerVS, I will review StorSafe VTL, and we'll both show how we work together for a hybrid cloud backup solution that can leverage archive protection in IBM Cloud Object Storage. Okay, Mark, let's get started with IBM Power Virtual Server.
Thank you, Paul. And again, welcome to everyone live or watching the replay later. I wanted to provide a summary for Power Virtual Server. Certainly, there's significantly more details and benefits that I'm happy to go over. Just reach out to me and schedule time, or I can provide deeper content if you would like. So the IBM Power Virtual Server has been deemed the best overall virtual machine for people running workloads like Oracle, SAP, and then IBMI. If you look at some of the statistics here, we have most of the largest banks and pharma retailers. We have utility companies, industrial companies that run on Power, and they're moving workloads to Power Virtual Server. And well, why are they moving their workloads to Power Virtual Server? Because in the case for Oracle, they can experience up to a 50% total cost of ownership advantage due to the using fewer cores on Power Virtual Server in the cloud. It helps lower their licensing costs. SAP, we have certified SAP profiles available where SAP partners with IBM very closely. And so we are moving more and more SAP customers to Power Virtual Server every quarter. You can see there a study was done. I can actually send out the study. It was published recently that SAP users are achieving a 212% return on investment over a 3-year period. And finally, IBM I is also supported on Power Virtual Server. We support many of the independent software vendor solution. Companies like Infor and Jack Henry all run on Power Virtual Server. And you can see that running IBM I on Power Virtual Server results in a 58% cost savings versus running IBM I on other platforms. Next slide. So why is Power Virtual Server so adept at running workloads and providing cost savings for customers? And it's because right there in the middle, the most important topic you'll see is the identical architecture with cloud agility. So what that means is you're getting the full enterprise stack of a Power server that you see on premises. You're consuming that now in the cloud. So you're consuming services at an hourly rate. You're consuming services that you're either running or taking down. So you're in complete control of your consumption, but yet you still get that very robust and full enterprise stack that you expect for Power on the ground, right? The Power servers in the cloud maintain the same resiliency and performance and levels of security. Like I said, we're certified by SAP. We enable IBM I, ISVs, those independent software vendors. We currently have Power Virtual Server available in 21 data centers worldwide, and we focus on adding servers to more data centers and continue that rollout. Our major use cases that people tend to turn to: business continuity, data center optimization, application modernization, and cost optimization. I'll talk a little bit more about those again later. Next slide. So as I mentioned, we're currently in 21 of our worldwide data centers across the globe. We have more than 650 customers now running in Power Virtual Server, and that number grows quarterly. They're using it for their production workloads. They use it for high availability and disaster recovery. They also are using it for dev test use cases. You can see there our comprehensive list of compliances, and we continue to work on those every quarter as well. Most recently, the one there at the top, we achieved certification for IBM Cloud for Financial Services. That was a significant goal that we had for this year. And so we were able to pass their comprehensive security framework, and we're certified now for financial services on IBM Cloud. What makes this so important, there, that last bullet says why it matters. We work hard every year to make migrating to Power Virtual Server as easy as possible. We recently went through an acceleration program where we've made improvements to both Power Virtual Server and supporting services that help you migrate and move your workload to the cloud. It's a secure infrastructure as a service, is resilient, right? You can reduce your capital expenditures. You don't need specialized skills. Cloud skills are readily available in the marketplace. And now we have OpenShift and IBM Cloud Paks on Power Virtual Server, so you can perform cloud native development on Power in the cloud. It's just a significantly better platform for you to adopt as your cloud strategy moving forward. Next slide.
Okay, hey, thanks, Mark, for the PowerVS overview. Let's transition here to how customers can optimize their current backup processes and policies using both Power Virtual Server as well as FalconStor, StorSafe, VTL. First, the history. We all know IBM, so who is FalconStor. Well, FalconStor was founded in 2000 to help customers modernize their backup environments for better efficiency and performance, all at a lower cost. IBM and FalconStor have worked together over the years to offer solutions for data protection, disaster recovery, ransomware protection, and cloud migration from a customer's on-prem environment to the IBM Power Cloud. At FalconStor, we follow the power user to where that user is and where that power user wants to go. So that's the hybrid part. We work in your environment, your power environment on-prem, as well as your power environment in IBM Power Virtual Server. FalconStor's VTL technology, it is a proven technology, but most importantly, it has been certified by IBM, and we have hundreds, even thousands of successful deployments. The StorSafe VTL patents that we have involve deduplication and advanced compression technology, which dramatically reduces the cost for the customer. It works with the customer's backup software to optimize the backup and restore process. The VTL provides encryption at rest and in flight, and is a key enabling technology for modernization, as well as for your journey to the cloud, to IBM Power Virtual Server. Okay, so Paul, let's give us an example, right? Okay, so jointly we highlight 5 key use cases for our VTL solution for IBM Power customers. Today's focus is on the second use case that's highlighted here, hybrid cloud backup. So first, I want to drive home that we focus on Power customers. And even though we started supporting Power customers in PowerVS, we, FalconStor, will meet customers where they are, starting, what is use case number 1 here, in their on-prem environment. So everybody now may have an on-prem environment. You have Power on-prem, and you have a backup process. And here we work with customers to optimize their backup and restore functions on-prem, as well as in establishing an on-prem DR site. So starting with your on-prem environment, FalconStor can help power users optimize your backup and restore processes and enable you to set up a DR environment at another site. So 2 VTLs, 2 locations. And at this point, all of this is on-prem from a customer's perspective. So where does IBM PowerVS come into play? And that's the second use case here, the hybrid cloud backup. This is what we highlight today. If you can imagine 2 sites for an on-prem production at one, DR at another solution, just flip that in your mind 90 degrees. And you can easily imagine the setup of hosting your DR environment in PowerVS. In this case, the user doesn't need to worry about finding a second location, or refreshing the infrastructure over time, or hiring and retaining hard-to-find personnel that have a specific power skill set in certain regions. But a huge benefit to hybrid cloud backup is that the power user can take advantage of immutable data protection by IBM Cloud Object Storage. Now, as an aside, once the user has established that connection between on-prem and PowerVS, you can use the VTLs as a transport mechanism to, use case 3 here, migrate workloads into PowerVS, which can then lead to setting up a backup to protect those workloads, that's use case 4, and establish a DR site at a different IBM PowerVS cloud environment. Use case 5. All of those still leveraging IBM Cloud Object Storage. Okay, so what does this journey look like? And we'll have a build out now. So in pictures, we start in the bottom left, on-prem. FalconStor StorSafe VTL is a software-only solution. We're not a hardware appliance. We are software only, and we can work with the server and storage environment that the customer already has. We are not backup software. We work with your existing backup software. The initial on-prem benefit is that we can dedupe your data, and for IBM I workloads, this deduplication is about 20 to 1, 95%, which then in effect requires less on-site storage. We protect this data by encrypting it at rest and in flight, and the VTL can also replicate a backup copy from the main site to a separate DR location, all of that on-prem. Or instead of an on-prem DR site, the on-prem VTL at the main site can replicate a backup copy to a VTL in the IBM PowerVS cloud. This scenario provides the user with added protection of having a backup copy at an off-site location. In addition, the customer here can take advantage of different storage options in PowerVS. And one ability is to replicate archive copies to IBM Cloud Object Storage for immutable protection. What is immutable? So let me pause there. Immutability is an additional layer of protection. It means that the data cannot be changed. So all organizations have to protect themselves these days from all kinds of threats, external and internal, with immutability, which is one of the features available in Cloud Object Storage. The organization can protect themselves from even internal rogue administrators. As we continue along a journey into cloud, the VTL on-prem can connect with the VTL in PowerVS. It can serve as the transport mechanism to migrate workloads to the IBM Power Virtual Server Cloud. And there we jointly offer, again, multiple levels of protection to back up your data in the cloud, establish a DR site in the IBM cloud, and to replicate copies to IBM Cloud Object Storage. So let's recap. Instead of saving everything on-prem, hybrid cloud backup in Power Virtual Server has additional benefits. Why do customers do this? Some customers have internal governance requirements, including legal holds, the need to keep data around for a certain number of years for legal reasons. And these call for improvements. These companies are calling for improvements in how they protect their data. And at the same time, organizations are being asked to do more with less and don't want to make the upfront capital expenditures for new equipment or additional building leases for DR sites. In addition, some organizations now have a cloud-first strategy or are looking to try cloud. And hybrid cloud backup into Power Virtual Server is a great use case to start. Other companies we work with can't find enough IBM resources in their localities. And we're also coming across instances where insurance companies are mandating to some of our customers that they keep at least one copy off-site. And Power Virtual Server with IBM Cloud Object Storage is a great way for these customers to meet that mandate. So again, pictorially, for hybrid cloud, we start on-prem on the left And the VTL on left on-prem can replicate to the VTL in Power Virtual Server on the right. And there you have your hybrid cloud backup and an option for additional protection with IBM Cloud Object Storage. Now, once the customer is using IBM PowerVS Cloud in a hybrid cloud backup scenario, the customer can then choose different storage options, including IBM Cloud Object Storage. Let's show what this could look like. This slide is an overview of IBM Cloud Object Storage in an architecture diagram format. So start on the left side, and on the left side of the slide, there are examples of data types that are most often written to IBM Cloud Object Storage: analytics data, media files, log data, IT backups, on and on. Client data is uploaded to IBM Cloud Object Storage, COS, using REST-based APIs or through IBM Software Developers Kit, SDK. The API approach makes it easier to read and write large volumes of data. IBM Cloud Object Storage is deployed in the IBM Cloud, and clients can select where their data is stored, specifically a regional or multi-zone region. And this would be a specific geographic region with 3 data centers of redundancy. Or you can use cross-region. Client's data is distributed across 3 different geographic zones in a different way, offering more resiliency and availability. IBM COS has built-in security and data management features, including identity and access management, replication of data to other regions, access monitoring, etc. At the highest level, what's important to know about IBM Cloud Object Storage is the 3 S's down here in the bottom right. A, scalability. The repository grows as your needs grow. Security. IBM Cloud Object Storage can offer immutable data protection, even against rogue internal actors. And C, savings. IBM Cloud Object Storage is less expensive than other options, including block storage. So customers can start on-prem at their production environments and set up a hybrid cloud backup and restore environment using FalconStor VTL and the IBM PowerVS Cloud, leveraging IBM Cloud Object Storage. Once set up, the customer can choose IBM Cloud Object Storage and provide themselves with multiple layers of security defense. That's defense against tampering, modifying, or destroying your data. The defense to maintain data privacy, a defense to set immutability keys to protect the data from unauthorized access, and to keep current against ongoing security threats, and let IBM manage what's evolving and changing in the security landscape. Again, a visual. The customer has an on-prem environment on the left. With the VTL, the customer can replicate backups to Power Virtual Server on the right and take advantage of IBM Cloud Object Storage for a hybrid cloud setup to then archive and achieve superior ransomware protection with superior backup and restore optimization as well. Note, on the left, we have worked with many customers that want to get out of the tape business. Currently, they're saving backup copies on-prem to tape, but they find it cumbersome and outdated. The VTL software is tape friendly. So we have customers that are using FalconStor VTL to ingest from their tape libraries, replicate into PowerVS, and archive for long-term protection in IBM Cloud Object Storage. The same is true for customers that might have a data domain appliance, which is at end of lease or end of service, end of support. These customers, again, they can use the VTL to ingest from the data domain device, replicate that up to PowerVS and IBM Cloud Object Storage for better data protection. A lot of colors going on here, but let me walk you through this. StorSafe VTL provides security against external threats, cloud provider threats, and even insider threats. What I want to highlight are the 4 evildoers in red: external threats, attackers, inside, network attackers. StorSafe VTL runs on a secure Linux kernel down here, and it's configured with a DoD security profile. This provides network, user identity, access management. The backup data is stored in a single instance repository, SIR repository, on Cloud Object Storage or on block storage. The data is encrypted in flight to the storage instance repository on Cloud Object Storage through, just HTTPS. The customer can supply the key for that encryption. This is securing the data from external attackers, cloud providers, even rogue insider and third-party threats. Data can be replicated across sites. The data encryption used is AES 256, and this offers protection against external attackers as well as inside attackers, and the data is protected at rest as well as in flight. In addition to the security features of the VTL, which support protection in a hybrid cloud environment with IBM Power Virtual Server, let me highlight other features of the VTL software. First, deduplication and patents. FalconStor has received 9 US patents related to our deduplication technology. StorSafe VTL recognizes all popular backup set formats, including like for IBM I, BRMS. When the backups are received by the StorSafe VTL, it uses this patented deduplication technology to discover any redundant information which can be eliminated, thus reducing the size of the backups. And so because the backup data received over time becomes highly redundant, StorSafe can deliver up to 95% deduplication rates. So for IBM I, 95% deduplication, that is 20 to 1, thus saving the user on storage costs, improving speeds across the network, and thereby helping to optimize the customer's backup and restore operations. Another feature, the StorSafe VTL also comes with the StorSite Management Console. This is a central layer, a single pane, to see all StorSafe VTLs, regardless of their location, on-prem, in IBM PowerVS, or even with a different third party. This is a great feature for customers with multiple VTLs, and additionally for MSPs using VTL instances for many customers. So this multi-tenancy, the software promotes secure multi-tenancy that allows, for example, MSPs to simply manage multiple VTLs for multiple customers at multiple locations. MSPs can leverage the StorSafe VTL and the StorSafe module to set up offsite DRs in Power Virtual Server and even take advantage of placing archive copies in IBM Cloud Object Storage. What I'm trying to convey is that the software easily communicates across platforms and allows a single pane view when you're dealing with a complex architecture environment. And so, furthermore, StorSafe VTL allows for multi-tenancy, and it supports a multi-cloud platform. And what is multi-cloud? So we have customers that have very rigorous governance and data protection requirements. So imagine a customer with an on-prem production environment, and they are already set up and using hybrid cloud with IBM Power Virtual Server. Yet, this customer still has internal protocols and requirements that require a third offsite copy with a different provider. So in this case, the StorSafe VTL can be used to migrate from on-prem into Power Virtual Server, and then from one cloud, replicating copies to other cloud platforms. Again, as I stated very early on, the StorSafe VTL follows the power customer wherever that power customer wants to be. What we've discussed is real, and many customers are taking advantage of StorSafe VTL, IBM PowerVS, as well as IBM COS, IBM Cloud Object Storage. For example, we'll start on the IBM Power Virtual Server side, and we'll bring back in Mark Martin here.
Hello again, everyone. Hope you're finding this webinar informative and useful. I just wanted to quickly cover some of our customer references. This certainly doesn't encompass all of them, but I like this slide to just highlight that we have customers utilizing all of our major use cases. So you have business continuity customer references on here, primarily with the VTL. You'll see the VTL kind of scattered throughout here a few times. We also have data center strategy and optimization customers represented here, customers who've decided that they don't want to expand their on-prem footprint or go look for another building or buy more hardware. So they're choosing to come to Power Virtual Server in the cloud for their expansions. We also have modernization customers, for examples, that you can see here on this chart. And then last but not least, people taking advantage of what we call cost optimization. Many of those Oracle and SAP customers coming to Power Virtual Server in order to reduce their software license cost, or to take advantage of a smaller footprint in the cloud versus the size of their environment on-prem. So lots of great examples here, but we certainly have many more. Plus we have a lot of customer examples that are blinded that sales and business partners have access to show examples of ways customers are leveraging Power Virtual Server.
All right, thank you, Mark. For FalconStor specifically, I know we have a lot of IBM users. I'm pointing to an AIX example just to demonstrate this is a multinational insurance company that's using FalconStor and IBM Power Virtual Server, working across many different geographical regions across the world, and they're set up in a hybrid cloud backup scenario. From an AIX perspective, the deduplication repository and savings for AIX is 15 to 1. As I've mentioned earlier, for our IBM I customers, we're getting at least 20 to 1 deduplication. All right, so how do you work with FalconStor? And that's pretty straightforward. Contact your business partner, your IBM rep, contact us directly, and we'll have contact information at the end of the session on the last slide. Mechanically, our VTL instances can be ordered from and deployed by directly from the IBM Cloud Catalog. So if you go into the IBM Cloud Catalog, go in there and search on FalconStor, search on VTL, and you'll see our two tiles pop up. And these are our two tiles. The one on the left is for deployment and download for an on-prem environment and to create that instance on-prem. And the one on the right is for a Power Virtual Server deployment. So yes, even though on-prem is on-prem and not in cloud, you can order the on-prem VTL from the IBM Cloud Catalog, and that will enable you to have the VTL on each side, PowerVS and on-prem, to enable a hybrid cloud backup between on-prem and Power Virtual Server. All right, finally, let's bring in Mark back to recap from a Power Virtual Server angle.
Thanks, Paul. So I put just a few resources here that you may find beneficial. The Power Virtual Server product page, which has a wealth of information on it. And of course, different areas where you can explore deeper, and there's even a demo available on how easy it is to provision Power Virtual Server. There's a link there to some documentation. I have our catalog link there as well that'll take you right to the catalog entry where you could generate an estimate for Power Virtual Server by putting in your specifications and then eventually deploying it as well. We have a Power Systems community where we post updates or interesting features and stories about Power Virtual Server. And new for 2024, we actually created this offering late last year in 2023, but it is becoming widely adopted now here in 2024. It's what we call the Power Virtual Server Quick Start. It also has its own catalog entry. So you can go to the catalog and you can find the Power Virtual Server Quick Start. And what we mean by Quick Start is that we have analyzed years of Power Virtual Server consumption across the operating systems, primarily IBM I and AIX. And based on customer consumption over a long period of time, we identified what we feel like are best practices that are represented. We call them T-shirts, but they're really pre-configured Power Virtual Servers that are sized based on the most common consumption that we find by operating system. So if you go to the PowerVS Quick Start in the cloud catalog, you'll see that there are t-shirts available to be deployed. They range in everything from an extra small to a large for both IBMI and AIX. It includes everything you need. So you don't have to worry about how do I set up my network. You don't have to worry about storage or picking the number of cores or how much memory you need. All of that's been determined and represented by a t-shirt. And again, these were created based on analyzing years of consumption and determining best practices by operating system. And so literally in 20 minutes or less, we've been clocking this and benchmarking it. And on average, it takes about 20 minutes, in most cases, less than 20 minutes. You can have a Power Virtual Server instance ready for use directly from the catalog. We took all the guesswork out of trying to figure out, well, what do I need in a server, right? So you have a server ready to go in 20 minutes or less. There's some documentation on it. We have a deployment guide. The demo that's in Seismic, that is shareable to customers. So if you're an external customer and you want to see that demo, just ask your IBM or your business partner rep to share that with you. I am working on loading that demo into what we call our media center. So you will not need to work with a seller or a business partner to have access to that, but that is shareable for you if you want to take a look at a demo of how the Quick Start works. I'll also add just very briefly, as Paul was going through some of the use cases, you can utilize the hybrid cloud deployment, so the on-prem software and a cloud subscription. Not only can that be your hybrid cloud backup and restore or your hybrid cloud disaster recovery strategy, for those of you that may want to start a relationship with FalconStor on-prem because you may not have addressed your cloud strategy yet, but when the day comes that you're interested in a cloud strategy, you already have what you need on-prem with FalconStor VTL to migrate and easily move portions or all of what you need to get done to the cloud. It's the same technology. You would just take that VTL backup and migrate it to the cloud and restore it there. So you're already laying the groundwork if you go forward with the on-prem VTL software from FalconStor to help prepare you for a journey to cloud in the future. Back over to you, Paul.
Hey, thank you for the recap there, Mark. And I'll close this out from a FalconStor angle. And basically, this is a page of links to contact us by email, or a link to various FalconStor resources on ingesting from tapes and other appliances to how to deploy the software, how we would size a solution. All of that is available at these links. And so thank you again for taking time out of your day to review this hybrid cloud backup solution using FalconStor and IBM Power Virtual Server. And at this point, I'll send it back to you, Ian.
Great, thanks, Paul. We do have a couple minutes if people have additional questions. I know that some folks did find the Q&A during the presentation, and Paul and Mark and Vicky have been answering those questions. If you do want to open up Q&A and send in a question, it'd be at the bottom of the screen. It might be under three dots and then under more, and then the Q&A panel is there. But there are a couple questions here that have yet to be answered, so why don't we just go ahead and ask them. Does the appliance have native retention lock capability? Anyone able
Ian,
to that
I'll have to get back to you on that specific question from my VP of product.
Sounds good. We can follow up. We can and will follow up after the event in emails if you have questions that we're unable to answer. When you replicate to the cloud, does the software force you to a specific retention policy?
No, there are customers that ask us, what is a best practice for a retention policy? And the retention policy would typically come in a couple flavors. First, how frequently do I save? Daily, weekly, monthly, annual, whatever. Like how frequently? And then how long do I keep those backups? And then in what format can I keep them? So we will work with customers if customers want to talk about best practices given their environment. But regardless of whether they ask us for that or not, we can work with whatever their retention policies are.
Sounds good. If anybody else has any questions, put them in the Q&A panel now. I'll give folks a couple seconds to put in their final questions. While we're waiting for that, I will say that a replay of today, as well as a handout, will be available on the Common Learning Management System. It should be up by tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon at the latest. Essentially, you just go to common.org, follow the links around to the Content Management System, and it will populate at the top of the list once you access that system. Any final questions? Seeing none, why don't we end a couple minutes early? Paul and Mark, thank you very much for a great presentation today.
Thank you, Ian.
All right, everybody have a good day.
Bye-bye.